So I'm going to touch on a couple of these topics, vendors, names, and products and so forth really quick over the next couple minutes here. I spoke with a lot of people, visited a lot of booths and paced back and forth the entire length of the San Diego Convention Center quite a bit a number of weeks ago in early September. So one thing that was interesting, again, very specialized in terms of when you're talking about the high-end smart home or the high-end home in general, just thinking about, you've got those lovely patios, those big homes that are just beautiful and that people love to live on the outside of their home, in their backyard and in their outdoor environment. So of course you need entertainment and devices and systems that can withstand the elements and the weather. So Sunbright has a line of dedicated outdoor TVs. They're more weatherproof, they're more rugged, they can withstand the temperatures. They're a lot brighter than they need to be, but of course still at night the brightness can come down to a more normal level, because you might be watching TV in bright sunlight, you might be watching it, with a fire going on in your fireplace or your fire pit at night and entertaining guests. So those are pretty interesting. Of course, with TVs go automated mounts. There are multiple ways to do this. Of course, one company has all of the different ways, whether it is a TV that is going to basically disappear into a credenza, into a wall, into a ceiling. It's going to come out of the ceiling and bend, and I would almost say it's like the bend and snap, and it's going to rotate. Really, really fun stuff that looks really amazing. And another company, Mantle Mount, specifically makes some products that could be applicable to pretty much anyone, because these are specifically for TVs that are mounted above a fireplace, or again, mantle mount. And whether they are completely automated, which is one of their newer products, or manual, but completely perfectly counterbalanced with counterweights, so that just with one finger you can move this thing. And they also pan, kind of tilt, I guess, back and forth. They're incredibly adjustable, and their automated version, if it senses too much heat, it will retract automatically. So again, just cool stuff to catch on video, and just a product for every possible need. Smart mirrors, of course, we've seen this for years. The one company specifically, I stopped by their booth, didn't actually get to speak with them, but Electric Mirror, again, these are mirrors that have displays behind them. A lot of people are seeing these starting to come out for the DIY market, that can be really interesting, perhaps in like a bathroom, that you could have some information and display, the weather, the news, and so forth. Some of them are going to be compatible with Lady A or Google Assistant. Going back to looking at the high end of course, home cinema or home theater, these are the companies that are there that do this stuff, and it is incredible. Like, this stuff is, I don't want to say I'm bored by it, because I've seen it for so long and you kind of hear about it and it's like, oh, it's 8K video, it's amazing. Well, I don't know that I have 8K eyes, you know what I mean? Once you get past a certain resolution, it's like, it just looks really incredible. Like, it just really looks amazing, right? It's beautiful, it's crisp, it's perfectly color balanced, it's HDR. Sony, I believe Sony won the booth for the best booth at CEDIA this year with their crystal LED display system. Was also over at LG, who had incredible brand new TVs and a lot of 8K stuff. There was the 8K system from JVC, which was a shifting system. It was kind of like, I think it's really 4K, and they kind of shift the pixels around really quick, and it's actually 8K. You've got digital projection. These are the guys who make the theater quality, literally, for movie theaters in terms of DLP multi-chip projectors. But you could also have them in your home theater if you would like to spend $60,000 or $100,000. Josh AI, they now make this little puck-like product that kind of looks like, one of these guys, or an Amazon Echo Dot. Josh AI got its start a number of years ago, before the Amazon Echo even came out, and they were still being told, voice is just not that cool. And then the Amazon Echo came out, and they're like, oh my God, we love you guys. Do investors just said, hey, do you guys want some money? Anyways, Josh AI is the high-end voice system for the high-end smart home. And what I found interesting about it was they are an integrator. They're trying to cross-link all these different systems together and provide a better, more natural voice language experience. But everyone is still trying to solve these same problems. It's really no different. I spent a good amount of time with them and their people talking about it and getting some demos. But it really, and we couldn't demo it in the show floor because it's too noisy, but everyone is trying to solve these same problems, whether it's on the DIY side or the high-end side. It's natural voice. It's trying to get your home to respond to you and to be proactive. But still, on many levels, somebody has got to go set this stuff up. It just does not, like, you don't just bring it in and magically it just fixes everything for you. But a cool interface, really cool what they're doing. And I still think we're a couple years away from voice really being truly helpful in the smart home or otherwise. I think it's just still glitchy, but we all know that. So Kohler, of course, you've got to have your smart sinks and toilets and faucets and touchless devices and showers. They have to be there, of course. All this stuff is crazy, ludicrously expensive. Maximus Lighting, I kind of mentioned them, and I was reached out to by various companies. These guys have some insanely bright outdoor floodlights that double as cameras, and with two-way audio. You've also got some of their products that are basically standard kind of porch lights that also have the integrated cameras and also with the two-way audio. So they're in the security business. So a couple of other companies that are going to be familiar to you name-wise. So the first one I want to talk about is Brilliant. Now, it is actually a brilliant product. I got to speak with their CEO, Aaron Emig, I believe is how to pronounce his last name, and he was telling me the story of how Brilliant came to be and what they're doing.
So the Brilliant Control replaces standard light switches. It can replace a single gang with a unit that's just a screen. This one here is a triple. It replaces 3 light switches in a row, and it has 3 different touch controls here. So you can dim a light. That's the lamp behind us is actually going on and off or dimming with this. The light over there on the left has been mapped to this one. So you see that's going on and off. And then this one has been mapped to the shade over there. So we can lift the shade up and you'll see that it starts moving and it's actually opening up the shade. Now if it's just a screen or if they walk up to it, it'll have initially a artwork like this. That can be art like this that we supply, or it can be your own custom pictures of your family or your pets or whatever you want to put up there. If you tap on the screen, you'll then be able to control the lights from that and whatever else is in the room. So in this room, it's configured to have the shades and Sonos is over there, so it's going to be a little hard to hear, but you can adjust the volume on it. You can go and select different playlists, but you can, for example, call another room. So now I'm going to call the living room with a video call. Now I'll go over there and accept that, and you can see the video from over there. And meanwhile, they'll see us. It also has an integration with a lot of different third parties. So these are some of the companies that we do integrations with. So for example, we have a Ring doorbell installed over there. Now if I ring the doorbell, then you'll actually see on the screen that the video call's coming in. You'll be able to see the video. The video's a little shaky here at the trade show. You can unlock the door, for example. So a lot of different kinds of products that it can control, and as well as giving you a smart lighting system just by replacing a standard light switch. It installs just the way a normal light switch does. Same 2 screws and 4 wires as any light switch has.
And obviously multi-gang, so anything from a single gang up to what?
That's right, 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's also compatible with standard 3-way wiring, so you can actually have it coexist on the same circuit with other light switches. That's.
And what types of lighting are supported in terms of lighting?
It supports incandescent, it supports halogen, it supports LED, pretty much anything other than like old-fashioned magnetic ballast fluorescent. Yeah, it came about when I had sold my last company and I was taking some time off and thinking about what I was going to do, but also doing a home remodel project. And those two kind of came together when I was putting some smart home technology into my house, and I found that I liked the products, but I was increasingly disliking the experience of using the house as I filled it up with smart home tech, because I felt it was really fragmented and it was really artificial to be using my phone to control things while I was sitting there in the house. And house guests couldn't basically use my house because they didn't have the right apps or the right authorizations. So I was thinking about, okay, where is it that would be the right place to control the home? And it needed to be something that was everywhere. And light switches made sense because there's one in every room. It's well positioned for both touch interaction and voice interaction. It controls the lights, which is one of the number one things that people want out of a smart home in the first place. There's power running to it, so you don't have to run cords and clutter things up, and you don't have to recharge batteries. So it was just a really serendipitous place, and it was something that hadn't changed in any fundamental way for literally a century. We're starting in multiple places. First, I actually think people will go to Best Buys and places like that at that price point. You look at how much does it cost for a Nest thermostat, or how much does it cost for a Ring, or for, there's a demonstrated market for sort of premium but not luxury level of smart home products, and that's where we fit into that ecosystem. But we also do fit in well into this professional market, and we play well with the higher end systems, and we're a part of that kind of integration. I would look at it the same way that I would look at a company like Sonos, where they're a successful consumer brand, people are buying them on their own behalf and putting them in themselves, but also professionals are coming in and designing whole home smart tech and whole home AV systems and using Sonos as part of that as well. And in the same way, we straddle both of those markets.
Another company kind of bridging the gap between the DIY side and the high-end side is Noon Home. So they kind of came onto the market seemingly out of nowhere last year, about summer of last year. I actually saw their products for the first time at the Target kind of smart home store in San Francisco last November. And it's a lighting control system. And I kind of initially thought, we need another lighting control system. Are there not enough of these on the market? They're doing some interesting things with integrated lighting control and controlling some smart lights in addition to the actual main lights, the main lighting fixtures that would be connected to your existing switches that, of course, Noon replaces with their really sleek, cool control system. And I got to talk to their CEO, Eric Charlton, who also was a founder at Nest. So I was asking him to give us a little bit of a primer on it, kind of what his experience from Nest brings to the table, and take a look.
Home, and I joined the company actually a year after it was founded, so I have to say the inspiration came from the two co-founders who were really enthusiastic about lighting and how actually it could affect mood, not just the way people receive space, but the way it affected people in the space. And I think their vision and understanding of the importance of light really touched me. For me personally, I came from Nest, and I was really excited about the smart home and really enjoyed it, but swore I was done with it. I never wanted to do it again. I was very happy with what we accomplished. But I just finished building my own home. And I put in a Radio Raw 2 system, which was wildly expensive. And what I saw when I met with the Noon team here and the two co-founders was an ability to bring that experience to a much, much larger market at an affordable price. And I knew how much lighting was affecting my family and how much my architect and decorator said it was important. And I thought it was a great opportunity to start spreading it to a mainstream market from a very elite market that it had been in before. So at Noon, we are deeply focused on the pro channel. So we have had historically some retail distribution, but the nature of the installation, it's not about installing one smoke detector or two smoke detectors or one thermostat. Oftentimes it's installing 7, 10, 15, 100 light switches. And for those experiences, we highly recommend a professional install and multi-way. God help you if you want to start wiring 3-way and 4-way switches. It's really, really complicated. So I think what we as a company, as we've matured now, we've been shipping the product for 9 months, we've really decided this is the right place to be. We want to work with professional installers who are doing whole home installations. It's just the right way to deliver the experience for the consumer. At Noon, we have 2 types of switches. This is called the Room Director. It is a black switch that plugs into the dimming base and has an OLED touch display. And this allows you to control all the lights in the room. It speaks to what we call extension switches. So you replace Noon, you replace all your light switches with Noon. It installs just like a regular light switch, this dimming base, but it works like a system. Once this is installed, and this can control all load types, so this will identify during install whether or not it's incandescent, halogen, CFL, LED, and dim it properly, but it will even identify whether or not it's MLV or ELV and dim it with the proper technique. So it doesn't damage the system, but also so it makes really, really beautiful illumination. So once this in, you clip in this room director in any of the bases, preferably probably one by an entry or exit, so it's really convenient. And then it will speak to all of these switches, so you can coordinate all those lights in the room. Because when you dim the lights, you don't necessarily turn them all down or all up at the same level. Based on whether or not it's recessed or sconce or chandelier, you dim them at different levels to create that beautiful, rich, layered lighting experience, or to create focus areas in the room. So Noon empowers you to do that with our technology to make it really simple. Today we have a direct integration with LifeX. So if you want to have smart bulbs, since we control the loads directly, we love to control, MLV and ELV and incandescent, these beautiful light fixtures. But if you have lamps, a great way to add them is to add them as a smart bulb. So we can do LifeX directly, or via an IFT integration, you can add Hue bulbs as well. Smart bulbs are a great solution if you live alone, because then you have complete control of that environment. But as soon as you have a partner or children, someone's going to actually turn on and off that switch. Or your children are going to have a phone with an app and an account, and it just practically doesn't work. But if you're by yourself, or you just want to use it to control an outside light for like safety and security when you're on vacation, it's a perfect application. We think, don't change user paradigms. We love having control at the switch. We think that's critical. We think that's the main paradigm. Who among us doesn't remember being a 4-year-old switching that light switch? So it's such a known paradigm. You can't violate it. We don't think you can violate it. But there is value of smart bulbs, and we believe in integrating them into scenes. I have a very strong belief that product should do what it's built to do. We are going to build a best-of-breed lighting company. There are other companies here, and God love them, who want to be home computers or the hub of the smart home. Just doing one thing well is really, really hard. And actually controlling lighting and managing lighting is very, very complicated. We want to be a best-of-breed lighting control. That's what I'm going to focus on. That's what we as a company are going to focus on. It was part of my experience Nest, and that's where Tony and I had a very shared point of view on how to go to market. But it really came from my time at Logitech. So I managed the mouse business at Logitech. And when we made best-of-breed products, performance mice or gaming mice, they were incredibly well received. But when we tried to do something like the media mouse, it's kind of media controller and computer mouse, it just didn't work. And you only make that mistake a few times and realize, no, purpose-built design will attract an audience of people who say, I don't understand all the trade-offs, I just want the really good one.
Thanks again, guys. It was really great to speak to both of you, Aaron from Brilliant and Eric from Noon Home, about the various companies, and both doing some interesting things in different ways. So let's move on to some startup stuff. One of these companies wasn't necessarily in the Innovation Alley at CEDIA, but I thought it was interesting. They just launched at CES earlier this year. The year is almost over, of course. And that is Flow Technologies, maker of a kind of a central water monitoring and shut-off system for your home. And you might think, there's probably dozens of those things out there. How are they unique? Well, I think they are unique. Number one, they have kind of a dead man switch type system to where if they send you alerts that there is a leak happening, like as in what was described to me, if you have a flow rate that is basically, it's kind of like an overflow rate. The water should not be going through this pipe into your home at this pressure. You've basically got something that's just wide open. It's not a garden hose. It's just water is going everywhere, somewhere. If they send you alerts and you don't respond to it within a prescribed time period, it will shut off the water for you automatically. So that's really helpful. Again, vacation homes in really cold climates that are second homes that you're not there, and the temperature goes down and the pipes freeze and then everything unfreezes and you've got a leak. Really helpful to have that to prevent a lot of damage. So the other thing that they do, and this is similar to the Sense on the other side of things for energy monitoring, they're doing something with AI to automatically identify the water appliances or water users in your home. This is, again, sinks and toilets and various fixtures to understand how you're using the water, not just the total amount that you're using. So here's an interesting product. This one specifically from the CEDIA Innovation Alley. They just started production recently, so definitely a startup, but a really nice product. This is the Ultra combination video doorbell and smart lock. So it's all in one unit. I kind of thought, well, that kind of makes sense. They both need to be near your door anyway, and it solves the problem of having to potentially mount a video doorbell somewhere if you don't have one, or dealing with wiring and so forth. This is totally wireless. It's all in one unit. It's a Wi-Fi based system, so that you don't have to have extra hardware or bridges or anything like that. It has a touch screen on the front. It's got app control. I believe they're compatible with Lady A. So right now they're working on other integrations. It's $349, so a little pricey, but I think for all the combination of things that you get, that's pretty cool. There is no key, so this is just everything in one. Just make sure to change the battery on a regular basis. No double A's, just an actual swappable battery pack. So for the final product, which is also my pick for the show, because it's getting harder and harder to impress me. I'll just go into that at the very, very end of the video. I'm going to let the CEO of Modulus, Steve Schultz, describe this to you. This product, which you won't find at Best Buy, you won't find at Amazon, at least not now. It's really impressive. And unlike some of the other things that are just evolutions and are kind of cool, this is really, really cool.
So the big idea of Modulus is to return freedom and control for the home media experience by integrating and simplifying the entire media experience of the home. So we have 5 different categories of media here. First, we have everything about live and recorded TV. Modulus is an advanced DVR, automatic commercial skipping, time save mode, just wonderful, unique features that nobody else has. 6 tuners, expandable to 18, up to 20 terabytes of internal storage. But the DVR is just one part of it. The next part is everything about your movies that you love, from movie trailers and your internal movie library, to playback of discs that you have, to importing those discs into your Modulus system. The next category is everything you love about music. So we have, of course, playback of CD and import of them, but also your internal Modulus library. You can import iTunes libraries, and we also have internet FM radio, so about 22,000 internet FM radio stations for free that you can use. The fourth category is streaming, a whole column of things here. Video apps, the library of recorded streams, because exclusive to Modulus and one of our pending patents is the ability to record streaming in high definition, in background, while you go watch something else. So we have video apps, we have music apps like Spotify and Pandora, and we can record those too. Then finally, we go over here and you have all of your personal and family media. So this will be your home movies, photo albums, things like that, all organized conveniently. And all of these features can be controlled by voice. We have full voice control. So we have ties in and API into Google Voice API. Yeah. But we also have an internal voice recognition engine for the main top 300 commands or so. Right.
Are you also working with Amazon?
Yes, we are. Okay. Yeah, the M1 is the server, and you only need one of these in the home. The M1 features 6 internal tuners, expandable to 18, up to 20 terabytes of internal disk storage, 4 USB ports on the back to expand it to much more storage, as well as working with network folders and NAS systems for even more storage. It also has a real-time encoder, so it has HDMI inputs and component video inputs, and it has multiple HDMI outputs as well. So the beautiful thing about Modulus isn't just the internal electronics here, but it's the ultimate remote control that we have. The Modulus remote features a microphone button for full voice control and voice command and voice searches. It has an air mouse for air mouse capability. It has a very easy to use navigation system. It's RF, so it doesn't require line of sight, but it also supports infrared, so you can program and replace 3 other remote controls with it. Then on the back, it has a full QWERTY keyboard, and you don't have to worry about virtual on-screen keyboards. On top of that, it's backlit on both sides, whichever side is up. And it has a headphone jack for private listening. So this truly is our ultimate remote. For dealers, the base model is about $3,200, and then the MX one, which is a small client device that goes in the other rooms of the house, that MX one is about $500 per unit. My wife and I, who originally founded Modulus, we really don't believe in being nickel and dimed to death, so we didn't like having that monthly service fee attached, so we've decided to waive that fee for Modulus customers. Here's the program guide. This shows you a color-coded view. It's color-coded by genre, and you get to see things. Now let's say that you want to record something that's a week out. You could go right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, or you can just say jump to a certain date and time. So go here, maybe to there, maybe there, and say okay, and it immediately jumps there. Okay, so you can skip forward 30 seconds at a time, backwards 15 seconds at a time. But let's say that we want to go a lot farther ahead. Give me a number between 1 and 100.
79.
Okay, so watch up here. 7, 9, right arrow, and there we are. It just skipped 79 minutes.
Boom.
Boom.
Quick.
Now, here's a button called Commercial Skip. It automatically detects and skips sequences of commercials. So watch this. Okay, here's the beginning of a commercial. Skip. It just skipped 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Let's do that again. Skip 6 minutes, 26 seconds. Time save mode, where you can adjust the time stretch and it resamples the audio. You can go up to 200% faster. Typically, people who are busy and want to catch the news or sports summaries or whatever, they might do it at 30 or 40% faster. Yes, yeah, it saves you 30 or 40% of your valuable time. Those are just some of the features in the DVR part of it. When you have a lot of things, though, you really want to organize it like you do on the streaming things, where it's like by series, by season, by episode.
Totally.
So there's lots of ways you can view things by release year, date added, but let's go in by season and episode. And we'll take a look here. Here's some shows. In fact, let's see. Boom. Like my wife loves Downton Abbey. So here's season 1, season 2, season 3. Let's just go into one of these. And it gives you all of your metadata for each episode. And select it, and instantly you're playing it. Now you've got the same controls for going forward and backward and
all
skipping ahead. It's the same thing all the time. Right. Okay. So now let's move over to movies. Let's go here. The movie library, just like everything, it's kind of easy to see. It's consistent all the time. Let's go in by title. And if you're familiar with like Kaleidoscape or something like that, you might be familiar with the other view that this has. Let's put this in a gallery view. Okay, so with 4 different views that you can use to view your artwork. And so let's go ahead and do a search. I'll just do a search on, let's say, Star Wars. Okay, and there's Force Awakens. Let's do that. So we select that. There's the cover art for that. It looks very nice. Let's play it. It goes instantly to the main feature, right at the beginning. And it's all loaded on the disc from the disc import.
Right.
100% special featers, subtitles.
You get the whole thing.
Bit for bit quality. Right. Wow. That's right.
So the Modulus M1 media server, wow. I literally told him, I said, this is impressive to me because I understand the logistics of how to create and build such a device, and obviously it's a hard thing to do because no one else has done it. Thank you to all the different people that I was able to interview and chat with, even those who were not included in this video, because it's impossible to try to create something that's going to be a reasonable time and give you an understanding, a little bit of a run through of what CEDIA was like and where it is and where the industry kind of stands at this point. Because again, you have no reference for where things were, so here was an overview for you. As always, I welcome your questions. I'm sure I'll get some on this and I'll try to answer them as best I can. You can reach me, of course, through smarterhomehelp.com, the little mini site within Smarter Home Life. Otherwise, I'm Joe DeGanzik. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.